Hello lovely dancers, my name is Aisha and welcome back to Belly Dance Tutorials. In today's class I'm gonna go over the arm positions, hand and finger positions during training and dance. The classical name for arm position is port de bras, and it comes from the French terminology. Actually, most of the terminology used in dance come from French because they invented the ballet and terminology. So port de bras means basically holding the arms. So this class is about how to keep your arms while dancing or while practicing. It's not about arm movements or arm patterns or arm poses. It's just about how to hold your arms while practicing, and this will transfer into dancing. I wanted to say that much of the content of this channel is inspired by my students or my viewers who are asking questions from my own experience, so it's very much rooted in the reality of dance training. And arm positions during practice is one thing that most of my students have struggled with even after a number of classes, like after several months or a couple of years. They are still confused about how to hold their arms. So some things I would like to clarify in this video. So let's go with the basic arm position in belly dance, yes. And I call this the shelf arms. So it looks like this. It's shelf arms because it's like you are having your arms on a shelf behind you. And let's talk about how to get in this position. And this is how I explain my students usually. So let's see. First of all, just raise the arms perpendicular to the body. So we are like the T shape now. They're very much in line with the side of the body, perpendicular. And now bring them a little lower than the shoulder level, and then bring them forward a little bit, probably about 30 degrees. If you imagine having a wall behind you, yeah, your arms will be about 30 degrees from the wall behind you. Yeah, so from the side, this will be raising the arms perpendicular to the body, lower them a little bit below the shoulder level, and bring them forward a little bit. Yes? And you'll notice that my hands are in continuation of my forearm. So there is nothing going on here. It's just a long straight line. And for now, the hands are facing the floor. Now the next thing to do is to bend the elbows a little bit. So from here, extended arms, we're gonna bend the elbows to the back. So again, if you imagine the wall behind you, your elbows direction is gonna be toward the wall and not downward. Yeah, one more time. Extend it out, lower, bring them forward, bend the elbows a little bit toward the wall behind you. Yes? Okay. Now, be careful of the shoulders. We want the shoulders rolled down and back. We don't want any shoulders moving forward. So that happens a lot when you think of so many things to control. Then a lot of time the shoulders are a little bit rolled forward, and we don't want that to happen. So bring them back and down and open the upper chest. So yeah. All right, so let's try this from the back. Oh, one more thing. So when you move the shoulders back and down, think of your shoulder blades going together and sliding down the rib cage. So it's not just the shoulder that we are thinking, we are also thinking the shoulder blades that are moving toward each other and down. Okay, so let's try this from the back. From the beginning, raise the arms perpendicular to the body, lower them a little bit, bring them forward about 30 degrees, bend the elbows toward the back wall. Now shoulder roll back and down together with the shoulder blades. So shoulders, relaxed position, and now watch the shoulder blades if you can. Bring them together and down. Okay, now let's talk about the hands and fingers. For now, we're gonna keep the hand parallel to the floor, and the hand is in continuation of the forearm, as I said, and the fingers are kind of together. So we are trying to create a narrowing shape of the hands and fingers, so they are not out extended. Nothing fancy here. Yeah, we are trying to elongate the arms and create a nice long slimming line. So we try to keep the fingers together. Now how to do that? We want to bring all fingers together, and the middle finger is kind of inward a little bit. So these are 3 fingers a little bit more to the outside, and then the middle finger is a little bit to the inside. Yeah. And then the thumb is kind of in continuation of the forearm as well, and it's a little bit, there is a little space between this part of the hand and the thumb, but the thumb is not like sticking out, and you don't have to keep it right in line with the hand. It's gonna be a little space here, so it's actually comfortable. It feels comfortable and relaxed. You have to also work with your hands, with your hand shape, and with your ways of holding your hands. So sometimes you have to make small adjustments to all of these positions and everything that I said here. You have to sometimes make all small adjustments to work with your body type, with your shape of the arms and hand and so on. So that's why you really need to have a teacher in the beginning to tell you all these little things that you have to adjust, like in all the other movements in belly dance. So now to create muscle memory and to get used to keeping the fingers together most of the time, of course there are exceptions, I will use the hair scrunchies, hair ties, and it's a good idea to just wrap it around your fingers. And it varies. Maybe if your fingers tend to be out, all of them out extended like that, and it's hard to control, you can wrap it around all your 4 fingers. But you can do only 3 fingers, which this is what I prefer for myself. So only 3 fingers wrapped together, or only 2 fingers. Sometimes you only need 2. So you have to work with your movement habits. Yeah, so I have here only 2 fingers. And in general, you have to feel your fingers. When you dance and at some point you don't feel the fingers, you have to see if your fingers are spread apart, so you have to bring them back so you can feel most of them. All right, so we have this here, perpendicular, forward, elbows back, shoulder down, hand in continuation of the forearm, and we are here. Finally, we made it. All right, good. Now, some variations of this. If you get tired, because of course after 10 minutes of holding your arms you'll get tired, you can just let your hands down. Let your arms down and continue whatever you're working on. You can just frame your hips while working on other movements. But try not to get into this position. Try not to bring the elbows down because your arms are tired, because most likely you will transfer that into dance. And then when you dance, you'll find yourself with bent arms, doing like this kind of movement that are very broken, broken lines, instead of having them out here. The other thing that I suggest, if it's hard for you to remember so many things about the arms and doing body movements, one way to make it simpler is just to keep the arms extended. So keep them in the position, right? But don't worry about the elbows, just keep them extended. It looks a little stiff right now, but it's much better to get the habit of having arms extended during the practice rather than have them bent, because this is much harder to correct later on when you get into real dance movements than this. We rather have arms out extended, even if they are a little stiff, than having them here most of the time. Yeah. Of course, there are many variations and many styles, and there are exceptions, but for now, just start from here. Now, the other thing about hands, so next thing about hands and fingers, sometimes it's good to have a little energy in your hands. So instead of having the hands like in continuation of the forearm in a straight line, you can keep them a little upward. Yes, so a little upward here. It gives you a more sophisticated look and a little bit more energy in the hands and arms. So that's an option that you can have. Yeah. So if I'm here, just a little extended. And you can also keep the arms a little lower. If you get tired, you can have the same arm position but hold it a little lower once in a while. Yeah? You'll build strength and stamina in your upper body, your shoulder, your arms, if you practice keeping your arms out, and it's gonna get easier and easier in time. Now, a few variations of the hand position, which is more on the dancey side and, well, actually more of the Oriental side, Egyptian side, which I like sometimes to add other positions of the hand and change the mood of the arms, because arms create a mood, is to have your arms, your palms, your hands kind of facing forward. So instead of facing down, as we did earlier, keep it facing forward a little bit, or even upward. There are some small adjustments that we have to do here. If you keep it forward like this, I like a little bit of softness in the wrist. So instead of having the arms here, and this looks very stiff and, I don't know, military, bend this area, so bend the wrist a little bit so your arms, not your arms, your hands are a little downward. And this is a very relaxed Egyptian style position. It's used a lot in ballet or even Oriental raksharki, pop, whatever. So I really enjoy this because it's softer. It's softer and it's I don't know how to say, maybe authentic. I've seen this a lot in Egyptian dancers or foreign dancers who are dancing in Egypt. So I think this is much more not sophisticated, but like the next level of arm position or hand position, I should say, because the rest is pretty much the same. So the next one is to hold your palms facing up This is a more open position of the arms. I could say this is more of a showing position, and it's like I'm here. It's more about drawing attention to yourself in this arm position. I like that too. So it's facing up. Now, when you have this arm or hand positions facing forward or up, make sure that your fingers are together. This is more critical than the other one because your finger will show. Your palm will look wide if you have your fingers open here or here. So make sure that you make a narrow line of your hands and fingers and make it smaller and slimmer when you do these variations. Yeah? So it's a little pointy. That's the idea, to have your hands pointy. Here or here. And when you have it here, your index finger is a little bit more distanced, a little more pointy. Yeah. So it's a little bit outward compared to the others. So it's not so tight together. I think this is just my preference, but you have to see what works for you. But for me, I feel like if my index finger is more pointy, more outward, it looks better on me. So it's more extended here. I like this. So, and these are like next level hand positions. So we're graduating from the standard one into something else, into something more sophisticated. All right, one more thing here I wanted to go over. Another option here with the fingers is to have them in this kind of triangle shape. So what I'm doing here, these two fingers come together, and then the thumb is kind of pressing against these knuckles. Yeah, so it's another way of creating a slimming effect, and it's another nice way of holding your hands and fingers. So we are doing this little kind of triangle position of these three fingers together. Sometimes you can bring the thumb closer to the tip of the fingers, sometimes here, sometimes here. Again, it depends on your shape of the hands and fingers, how long your fingers are and things like that, and see what works better for you. So that's another option. And for this one, you can have, for instance, your arms here. Arm, elbow is the same as before, but now the hands is in a different position, hands and fingers. And it's nice when you open like this, like if you're pulling a thread, you have like a thread and you're pulling a thread between your fingers. It's very soft and very graceful. And then you can have your arms here, your hands here, or here, or here. You can have this different hand position that I talked before in this triangle finger position. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. So it's very soft. Or here. So it's a little bit more structured, if you want, than this, which is more soft and I say unstructured, but this has more structure to it. So yeah, try different things, different ways, and see what you prefer, what works for you, the styling you want to incorporate in your routine. Okay, so I think this is what I had to say in this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you will practice these arms and hand positions from now on and be more aware of where your arms are. If you get kind of very focused and concentrated on your body movements, just take a moment once in a while and watch your arms and see where your arms are and correct that and then start again. When you get tired, just keep your arms down and get in the habit of having arms extension more often than these bent lines here. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you have any comments or suggestions, write them down in the comments box and I will try to address them. And I hope to see you next time with more tutorial and more practice. Shimmy, shimmy!